Premier League Leicester City vs Brentford prediction, team news, lineups preview. Leicester City and Brentford get the Premier League weekend underway when they meet at the King Power Stadium on Friday night. The Foxes remain rooted in deep relegation trouble, while recent positive form has moved Brentford a clear distance away from the bottom three. Match preview. Despite suffering a 9th defeat in 10 league games last weekend, there were some positives for Leicester boss Ruud van Nistelrooy to take from their 2-0 defeat at home to Arsenal. Leicester kept the title challengers at bay for over 80 minutes, before eventually succumbing to two late Mikel Merino strikes, leaving them in the relegation zone, where they would go on to fall to 19th. That result last Saturday was Leicester's 5th straight defeat at home in the league, leaving them vulnerable to setting a new unwanted club record 6th if they lose again in this one. Those 5 defeats have seen the Foxes concede 11 goals without reply to, and only one team has ever lost 6 straight home league games without conceding in top-flight history, Norwich City, in between June 2020 and August 2021. With no club managing it across the same campaign. Nevertheless, even with all those bleak statistics, Leicester are still within touching distance of safety heading into the weekend. And playing in the Friday night slot allows them the opportunity to move out of the bottom 3 before Ipswich Town and Wolves play. A win would take Van Nistelrooy's men a point above 17th place Wolves in the 4-horse race for survival. And the hosts are unbeaten in their last 4 home league games against Brentford. However, the tide could be turning in this fixture, because Brentford's 4-1 win over Leicester earlier this season ended a 12-game winless run against the Foxes. It also provides the Bees with an opportunity to do the league double over their upcoming opponents for the first time in a whopping 72 years, and their recent away form suggests that is a real possibility. Thomas Frank's side became notorious with having the league's best home form and worst away form earlier this season, but that has completely flipped in recent weeks. After taking just 2 points from a possible 27 on the road, Brentford have now won 3 in a row away from the G-Tech, against Southampton, Crystal Palace, and last weekend against West Ham United in a 1-0 success. In a dominant display, Kevin Shade got the ball rolling early on, scoring Brentford's 7th goal inside the first 10 minutes this season, a league high, and it could have been 4 or 5 before the break. Considering Yoane Wissa had 2 goals disallowed for tight offside calls. Another away trip here will give the Bees the chance to win 4 straight away league games for the first time since they were a League One club in September 2011. And it is something they have never managed in the top flight. Had Brentford's stunning home form not fallen off a cliff just as they got their act together on the road, Frank's men could have been competing for Europe. But instead, they remain in the bottom half ahead of this one. Hopes of a late European push are not completely dead though, especially if they can win here to close the gap on 8th-placed Fulham to 2 points. And in their second Friday fixture of the season, the visitors will look to continue their excellent set of results on this day since promotion, taking 13 points from 5 matches. Team news. Leicester fullback James Justin will be assessed ahead of this one after being forced off in the first half against Arsenal with an ankle injury, so Woyo Koulibaly could be in line for a full debut after arriving from Parma last month. The returning Wilfred Ndidi has had a big impact since his comeback from a lengthy injury in the last 2 matches, making Leicester much more competitive in the engine room, and that is set to see Harry Winks remain on the bench here. Ricardo Pereira muscle and Abdul Fatawa knee are still sidelined with long-term injuries, with the latter ruled out for the rest of the season. Brentford's Sepp van den Berg will undergo a late fitness test after he sustained a knee injury in the win at West Ham. But Ethan Pinnock's well-timed return should see them cope well if he is absent. Apart from that, Frank is likely to go with an unchanged side after an impressive display at the London Stadium, where Shade was back in the goals ahead of facing the opponents he scored a hat-trick against in the reverse. Matthias Jensen is yet to win his place back in midfield after returning from injury, while Josh Da Silva, Igor Thiago, and fullback pairing Aaron Hickey and Rico Henry remain on the treatment table. Leicester City possible starting lineup: Hermansen, Koulibaly, Faze, Thakoli, Christensen, Sommer, Ndidi, Buonanot, Elkonis, Mavididai, Vardy. Brentford possible starting lineup: Flecken, Ajur, Collins, Pinnock, Lewis Potter, Norgard, Janelt, Mbumo, Damsgaard, Shade, Wissa. We say, Leicester City 1-3 Brentford. Leicester are unbeaten in 4 at home to Brentford, and have scored in 17 of the last 18 head-to-heads, suggesting their long wait for a home goal could end here. However, after losing 4-1 to the Bees in the reverse fixture, it is clear that past history is unlikely to come into the equation for this one. And it could be another tough evening for the hosts against one of the strongest away teams of late in the Premier League. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.